You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Micah Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
And good morning. This is Mike Lodge on the WBT. I tell you, it's a little chilly morning. Last night, the clouds rolled in. Clouds were cold looking, too. You know, it's that color of gray that looks like cold. But it looked cold. And the wind and the air became cold. And a little bit of sprinkling. And I was in my storage bin last night, and I was getting sprinkled on, so I had to lock everything up. Trying to clean up my storage bin because there's just too much stuff in there. I moved from a large office down to a smaller office because I just didn't need the space any longer. So I have office desks, conference tables, everything that is in there. I've been working on, I've kept my tax returns of my clients since, way back. I had them all the way back to 2002. And so I had to clean out and have people come in and shred and take documents away that I did not need anymore. It's called cleaning house. And so yesterday I spent my day, the day after tax season, I cleaned house. So that's what I was doing. Normally, on Tuesdays, I do sometimes a podcast that is called Political Tuesday. And that's where I go over political issues that affect businesses and affect taxation and everything else. And also I call out stupidity in politics. But I have a personal issue on politics because it's being talked about so much lately, especially on the Democratic side, on this freedom of choice for women to have abortions, all the way up to abort a child, all the way up until almost in the conceiving point of life. I believe, and this is my own belief, you can take it or leave it, but this is how I believe, is that life begins at the very beginning of conception. And the heart begins to beat, and the life begins to form, and a child begins to live right at that time. It's an amazing part of life. Now, this is personal to me, and let me tell you why. I was born in the 1950s. Now, in the 1950s, when people wanted to have abortions, or they got knocked up by somebody, so they decided, okay, I'm going to have an abortion. Now, I was born in San Diego, California. It would have been very easy for my mother to walk across over into Tijuana and get in abortion. Now, I was conceived by a military person at Camp Pendleton in San Diego. My uncle was the chaplain at Camp Pendleton. And this young officer came to him and said, listen, I got my girlfriend pregnant and we need to do something. And I really feel that we need to get an abortion. But my uncle said, no, don't abort. Let me tell you something. I know of a family up in Yakima, Washington that would love to have a little baby. So he got on the phone and he called up there and said, listen, how would you like to have a baby? And they said, yes, we want to have a baby. Let us know. So as soon as I was born, my parents drove all the way from Yakima, Washington, all the way down to San Diego, California. And that's where my life began. My life began in a drawer that my uncle pulled out, put blankets in, and that was my bed for the first few hours of my life. Now, my birth parents could have driven all the way down to all the way down to Tijuana, Mexico, because it was right across the border from San Diego. And that's where all the abortions were being done. They could have made that choice. But instead, they decided to have me and put me out for adoption to a family that was filled with love. Now that is my story. So when I see people trying to terminate children, when I know there are families out there wanting to have a child of their own, and they're willing just to say, okay, I don't want this child, and cut its spinal cords and kill the baby, is the most cruelest, evil act out there. Now, I know there are women who are living with this issue. Maybe they've been raped, or maybe they've gotten pregnant early in their life and they don't know what to do, and they see that this is an option to get rid of this child. And I'm so thankful that my birth parents did not make that same decision. Sometimes, when we make a mistake or something happens to us, we have to live with that. We do. There are many things that I've done in my life that I have had to live with. And let me tell you, I can tell you some stories. But I lived with it. I dealt with it. I learned from it. And I moved on. And sometimes I think that if you are pregnant, sometimes you have to think about the greater good for this child that is within you. That's why I entitled this podcast, I was adopted, not aborted. There is that option out there for women to do, and there's help out there for them. That there are individuals, there are families, there's young mothers and husbands that want to have a child of their own. Listen, I have many people that come into my office, they're young. And they've been trying for years to have a child of their own. And they just can't get to that spot in life. Something's wrong with the body, something's wrong with something, that they just cannot have a child of their own. I had a client come in the other day, and they've been married now for several years. And I said, are you still trying to have children? And they said, yes, we try every single day. We're trying. But they can't. Something an issue is wrong, that they should have that ability, that option, to be able to adopt a child. But if you're going to go out there and if you're going to kill that child, you've just left a life that could have been born, that could have had a loving mother, that could have had a loving father, brothers and sisters. So, again, this is very personal to me. And right now it's heavy in the politics. And you hear people, Democratic candidates that are running for president, who are saying, yes, we think they should abort right up until the time that they're ready to be born. To me, that's very hurtful. Understand my feeling, because I could have been that child. Somebody could have reached into my birth mother and taken my life very quickly. I think about that. Every time I hear the word abortion, that is what comes into my mind. And at the same time, I know that it didn't happen, so I'm very thankful, and I say, God, thank you for giving me this life. Thank you for letting me live one more day. So to me, this abortion issue is very, very real and very close to my heart. I think about it almost every day, especially during this political season, because every single candidate, there's like about 20 Democratic candidates, and they're all saying the same thing, that it's okay to kill life. To me, and again, this is very personal to me, I can never vote for anyone, any person that believes abortion is okay. Now, you and I can argue this point, but when we argue this point, I want you and I to walk away as friends. I don't want this to become so disgusting that we break our friendship. But I do want to counsel you that life begins at the moment you're conceived. Otherwise, you and I would not be talking face to face here, person to person, voice to voice. We would not be talking about this because life began, and you and I are here today as human beings. So think about what is coming out of my mouth and understand how I feel. Because I feel to abort a life is wrong. So I see it black and white. You may not see it that way, because you may see it in a different way, but this is how I see it. Taking a life is wrong. At any stage of life, taking a life is wrong. In the good book, what does it say? And it's a commandment. Thou shalt not kill. So we have to ask that question. And we have to understand the ethical and the moral responsibilities that we have as human beings, that if we take a life of a child, we have killed. And I think I would rather follow the good book that says, thou shalt not kill, and that means thou shalt not kill that child. But give it a chance. I was given that chance. And I'm totally grateful every single day. And when politicians say it's okay to take a life all the way up until the time it's born, that, to me, is wrong. Now, I don't really feel that this is a political commentary that I'm making. I don't think it's a political, but it's a moral issue, an ethical issue within my life. I do not know how you look at this, and I'm not going to judge you for the way that you look at it. That's not my job and role in life. My role in life is to tell you how I feel that this is an ethical choice. So that's how I feel. And I want you to understand that, yes, there's that political talk out there about abortion, but there's also the ethical talk that we need to have about the ethics of taking the life of a child. I want every child to have that same opportunity that I have had. That was given to me by unselfish parents. I have never met them. I don't even know where they're at, because I'm very happy with the parents that adopted me. But I do give them thanks. I thank them every day, and I thank God every day that they gave me that chance. I could be an unborn child wrapped up in a plastic bag thrown into the garbage. I could have been that child. By the grace of God, I was given a chance. So that's my feeling, and that's my Political Tuesday note. Even though it's Wednesday morning, I'm a little late, sorry. But after tax season, I did some podcasts about taxes and everything else and how it affected you and how you need to change your thought process for 2019 and beyond. So I didn't do my Political Tuesday. So Wednesday is my Political Tuesday. I'm late. Forgive me. Everyone go out today. Have a great day. Make ethical choices that are good choices. And change the world. This is Mike Lodge. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
By the way, when I do these podcasts, I do this literally. If you were to see how I'm doing it right now, I'm on my cell phone. I'm on my bed. I have pillows around me so that it cushions the sound. And I accidentally pushed the wrong button that was an applause button. So I apologize to you for that. But sometimes mistakes are made. And when it's dark in the room and you're looking for buttons to push as you're recording a podcast, underneath pillows, mistakes happen. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.